This is my friend.
Hi.
And in this video, I will be teaching him how to make a game in Scratch. But before we get into this challenge, I just wanted to give you some background information. For the purposes of this video, let's just call my friend Bob. Bob has tried learning Scratch in the past, but he thought that it was boring and he didn't like it. So my goal for this video is to get Bob to enjoy Scratch and also learn some coding while he's at it. Let's hope that nothing goes wrong. So I guess we should just start coding. Since Bob already knew quite a bit about Scratch, I didn't bore him to death with the very basics, and instead, we jumped right into making the project. To start, I let him choose a character that he wanted to use for the game that we were going to make. He wanted to use a dog. Which dog do you like?
I like the blue one.
This guy?
Yes.
After adding the suspicious dog, we gave it the ability to move. And instead of actually explaining how to do this, I just made him watch one of my tutorials.
Which one's your tutorial?
It's this one. Now our dog can move, but it still needed a few adjustments. So we added in player rotation and made the dog smaller. This just makes the game a little bit more comfortable. But something that is not comfortable is watching our dog slide around without a walking animation. So we added in a walking animation and it looks pretty cool. But if you look at the game right now, there was no way to win. So to fix this, we added a squirrel that the dog needs to catch. But there was a problem with this. The only squirrel that Scratch provides is really ugly. So we had to make a few modifications to it. This is professional Photoshop. Do not attempt at home.
But you're attempting at home.
And while making those modifications, I was trying to figure out if squirrels have tails or not. Do squirrels have tails? No, right?
They do. They do.
They do.
Yes, they do. They do.
Let's just forget about that. At this point, we were doing pretty good, but the game was a bit too easy because the squirrel would just move around randomly, and it was always just a matter of seconds before the dog caught the squirrel. So we shifted our idea for the game. Instead of making a game where you try to catch something, we now wanted to make a game where something was trying to catch us. That something was a lightning bolt. We thought that the lightning bolt was a good idea, since dogs are scared of lightning, and it probably makes them just want to run away, but I don't really know. Now we basically had all the base mechanics of the game down, so we worked on other things. One of those things was a death system, because when you get struck by lightning, you don't just continue walking like nothing happened. So we coded in the death system, and now our dog can die. The final thing that is left for this game was adding a score, which was relatively easy to do. And that wraps up this game. I had a really fun time making this project, but I'm not sure that my friend felt the same way. But before we see his final thoughts on Scratch, let's see the project we made together. Now Bob, what do you think of Scratch after trying it again for a second time?
Honestly, it's like a pretty good, what do you call this? Platform to code, and when you start doing coding, it has all the blocks. It's all simple, basic, easy to understand. So I think it's pretty useful to do,
Well, it looks like Bob felt that Scratch was pretty cool and he improved a lot while making this project with me. If you also want to be like Bob and level up your coding skills quickly, here's a playlist with a bunch of tutorials that can take you from beginner to high-level programming.